right, so let's get cooking. This segment starts the discussion about how to get protein into your diet while eating really small portions. As you might recall, I mentioned that we need to have 60 to 65 grams of protein every day. And I just need you to understand how critical that is. Protein is critical during the first year and of course after in order to help you maintain your muscles and your brain function. Protein is an important component of every cell in the body. Hair and nails are mostly made of protein. Your body uses protein to build and repair tissues. You also use protein to make enzymes, hormones, and other body chemicals. Protein's an important building block of bones, muscle, cartilage, skin, and blood. Along with fat and carbohydrates, protein is a macronutrient, meaning that the body needs relatively large amounts of it. Vitamins and minerals, which are needed in only small quantities, are called macro or micronutrients. But unlike fat and carbohydrates, the body does not store protein and therefore has no reservoir to draw on when it needs a new supply. We will start with the protein workhorse, or in this instance, the work chicken, the egg. Deviled eggs, quiche, egg foo young, and we're going to go ahead and start with how to make some deviled eggs. I use a dozen eggs for me and my husband. Now understand there are those out there that have a family, and I know in my family, deviled eggs were a treat. They were something that we had as an appetizer on special occasions. If my kids still lived with me, 12 eggs would be gone in a heartbeat. So at this stage in your rebirth, you need to get a little food aggressive. Make enough for the entire family, but separate your portion or your share and label them as hands-off. Explain that if they want you to get better and healthier, they need to have a stake in your future, and that means that what little food you need, it's always available to you. And since they can still eat whatever they want, they need to find something else to chomp on and leave your stuff alone. Add the 12 eggs, single layer in a pot. And I'll show you how we're going to do that. This is what a rolling boil looks like, and this is when you start the timer for 7 minutes. Boiling, the eggs are done boiling. We're going to take the pot over to the sink, and we're going to run some cold water over it, and you're going to do that until you can put your hand in the water without burning yourself. Alright, so after you've got your eggs boiled and you've cooled them down enough to handle them, you need to make sure that they're dry, and you need to make sure that you can handle them, put them in your hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the egg and we're just kind of going to roll it really lightly, very lightly, just to get the peel to kind of come away from it. And we're going to hope that the salt helped with the peeling process here. Now, it appears it has, so get your peels into the garbage, take your egg, put it in the bowl, go to the next one, and we'll be right back while I do these 12. So after you have your eggs peeled, what you have to do is you have to kind of dry them off, and then we're going to slice them in half. And you're going to take that yolk and you're just going to kind of pop it into a bowl, and you're going to put your halves into your whatever dish you're going to use to serve it. This process gets you the best results. And they are going to look really pretty when you're done. So once you have all of your yolks in the bowl and you have your eggs set out to be filled, there's always one that just doesn't quite live up to being a deviled egg. It's, I don't know, icky. So what I do with this one is I put it in my little slicer, and it becomes the top of a potato salad or goes into a salad or something, because it's just too ugly to be part of my beautiful deviled eggs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start to make the deviled eggs. So one of the things that we do is we take the mustard and, you know, give it a good shake, make sure that you're good. And we're just going to put in about a teaspoon of mustard. And then we're going to take Miracle Whip. Now, I typically don't use Miracle Whip. My husband loves it. So I cut the Miracle Whip with real mayonnaise, but I'll show you how that works. Now the Miracle Whip, you want to get a good solid big old teaspoon of that going in there. And then you want to do exactly the same with the mayo. A whole tablespoon of, a big heaping tablespoon of mayonnaise. There you go. And then the relish, I use sweet relish. If you have a problem with sugar, you can use a dill relish. It will definitely make this less sweet. But I put a nice big tablespoon of the sweet relish in there. And then I also put just a little tiny bit in here, because we're going to put this on the top, just a sprinkle of paprika. And then salt and pepper. And the salt that I use is about a teaspoon, I would say, of the salt, and just a couple of dashes of the pepper. And then you're going to take this over and you're going to use your blender, your mixer, to mix it up. Now, depending on your the eggs, I used large eggs, and so the yolks were bigger. And then I take a look at it. You know, how is that looking? It's a little dry, and so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more ingredient to it. And we're going to whip it up again. Looks about like the right consistency. You can see it's a little creamier, but it still sticks together. Next, we're going to finish them off. As you can see, this one was made not using the cookie press, and these were made using the cookie press. Edible, pretty and edible. So we're going to take the paprika, and we're just going to put just a small amount, you know, just enough to let it sit on your tongue and just taste really good. And we're going to pretty up our little tray here. And then we're going to talk about how you're going to eat these, because the good news is that they're very good for you, with the exception of the tablespoon of sweet relish and the Miracle Whip, which you don't have to use. You can substitute all mayonnaise for that, which would probably be better for you. You've got some really pretty deviled eggs. So this, again, is the serving size that you should have for your meal, for breakfast. So that means that you can have approximately 5 deviled eggs, which is really 2.5 eggs for breakfast. That is kind of where I started out with my diet, because I could not fathom having another one of those protein drinks after having had my surgery and had nothing but those protein drinks for 2 weeks prior to the surgery, which was a requirement. They were not, I couldn't get them down. I just couldn't do it. So I needed to get my protein some way. And the best way for me to get my protein is to eat something that I really loved. And my taste buds didn't change much when I had the surgery, but certainly my like or dislike for those protein drinks did. I actually went online and told some of my older neighbors that they can have tons of it for free, and we did have a couple of good takers. I do want to give a shout out today to my nephew, Carl Eric, and his beautiful wife, Stacy. Today is their little girl's baptism, and she's absolutely the most adorable child ever. And my sister, Grandma, is going to be with us next week, and she's going to be celebrating, and hopefully she'll join me in a segment. So the next up thing that we're going to talk about is quiche. Now, I know there's a saying out there that real men don't eat quiche, but if you think that way, you're really missing out. So stay tuned. We're going to make some quiche.